Ow. Erik, we're going to start again. We had a practice run. I want to make sure this works this time. It says on my thing it's live. Does it say live on yours? I think we are live again for the second time, Erik. I am so sorry about that. I think it's live. Let's just make sure. Yes, we are live. Do you see it on your end? Do you see it on your end? Okay. All right. Erik, are you there? You need to unmute yourself.
I'm sorry, I was muted.
All right. Yes, you're muted. And I want to apologize. So we were talking and we were supposed to have gone live, but apparently it didn't. So right now I think we are live again. So Erik, I'm going to be very sorry about this. And I'm going to ask you some of the questions again. So thank you, Erik, for graciously agreeing to do this interview. As I was saying earlier, that nobody else heard except for Erik. I met Erik actually at Journey DC last year. It was my very first journey because I joined VIPKID September 2019. He was obviously at that time you were the community engagement lead at that time, right? Like
yes,
that was your post. Yeah. And so it was really, really nice. I went by myself. I did not know any VIPKID teachers, but I did know who Erik was because, you know, he's usually tagged in all the, like the official Facebook group. So I knew who he was. Now I was dressed up as Meg, just because I wanted to be in the VIPKID spirit. I was thinking, well, you know, it's kind of like a school spirit kind of thing. Maybe I'll get to know people that way. I called out to Erik when I was in line to get merchandise and he came over actually, and he posed for several pics with myself and a few folks who were in line with me that I have no idea who they were. Then he gave me a ticket, and that ticket was a ticket to free VIPKID goodies at the end of the conference, which was awesome. We got to go up on stage, take more pictures with Erik and the crew. And so I didn't even know, you know, dressing up as Meg meant that I could get all these free VIPKID goodies. But Erik was like probably the first person at the very start of the Journey conference that actually made me feel really welcome by, like, you know, talking. Like, he didn't even know me, but he talked, and kind of like right now, he was so gracious to agree to do this interview. And so I know there's enough about me. We're here to hear Erik. We're here to hear Erik. And so welcome, Erik. I'm going to be asking you some questions that you already answered, but hey, we had a run. We had a practice run. Thank you again. And I know it's very early in the morning there in China. All right, so let's get started. How long have you been living in China, Erik?
I've been living in China for a little over just about 7 years.
Okay, and what brought you from Toronto, Canada to China?
I kind of really wanted to get out of Canada. I wanted to be a teacher. I wanted to get some teaching experience. So I decided to move to Beijing right after I graduated. And, you know, Beijing has a habit of sucking people in. I always tell people that next year is going to be my last year. And I've been saying that for the past 7 years. So
oh, wow. So tell us about, okay, you went to Beijing in the hopes of?
Becoming a teacher. So in college, I always wanted to be a teacher. I had fantastic teachers growing up.
Okay.
But in Canada, there was a bit of a backlog to become a teacher. So after you get your teaching certificate, you're basically on a waiting list to be a teacher, to be a supply teacher.
Right.
So after that, I didn't really want to wait. So I decided to move to Beijing to get some experiences teaching. And I started teaching adults at an education center in English. So between you and me, I've still never taught children.
That's awesome, though. But you've taught. It's just, you know, different age group. Yeah. So how long have you been with VIPKID?
I've been with VIPKID for 3 years and 20-some days. Today's
3 years, 20-something days.
Today's 18. So I've been with VIPKID for 3 years and 24 days.
Wow.
3 years, 3 months, and 24 days.
Okay, 3 years, 3 months, 24 days. Wow, awesome. Yeah. So what exactly are your responsibilities with VIPKID, and has it evolved from 3+ years ago?
Yeah, definitely. I started as the mock class mentor communications liaison. So I helped answer some questions. I had to do a lot of social media stuff and wrote some of their emails. I did a lot of copywriting for them. which was a natural progression to doing that with a larger audience.
Right.
So now I work with the community engagement with the entire teaching community. So that's mostly social media, interacting with them, answering any questions they might have, as well as project management. So things like the community social directory, some of the videos that you see get put out are made by me as well, and some back-end logistics and metric stuff like
so
that, yeah.
so with social media, I know, I mean, Facebook is part of the social media. What other social media sites are we looking at with social media? It's like everything.
Well,
TikTok.
I mean, I definitely monitor, maybe monitor is not the right word. I definitely observe a lot in different communities. So
Got it.
It could be the official Facebook group. It could be other Facebook groups as well that aren't sponsored by VIPKID, but are VIPKID centered.
Got it.
So I also read those just to see, what's going on. The Hutong as well. And yeah, basically anywhere where people are talking about VIPKID, I just try to read and see what people are talking about and help where I can. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Good. Awesome. So someone wanted to know, if you took Pepsid or Nexium on a regular basis, because it seems like a very high stress level job working with 100,000 plus teachers. I know there's only like 30,000 plus teachers on the official Facebook group, but technically there are 100 plus thousand, right? Teachers. So is it as stressful as it looks?
It's not as stressful as it looks, but it certainly is stressful. It's not really a job that that I think at least for me personally, that I can kind of like turn off. It's not like, okay, I'm clocking out for the day. I can compartmentalize everything. So it can be stressful at times. Yeah, definitely.
Do you have to take anything for that stress?
Nothing I can talk about on.
Yes. What are your working hours like? And do you have days off?
Typically, my work hours are Monday to Friday. Anywhere, it's not consistent. So it can be, I could start at 7, I could start at 8, I could start at 9.
Wow.
Usually until maybe around 7 or 8 p.m. But a lot of it is dependent on what's going on. So if there's stuff happening, then I need to be available. So it's I don't really have set hours. And because I work a lot with the US team, and because I work with mostly teachers located in North America, I have to kind of work with their schedule. So, and as for weekends, yes, I do have weekends off, but I also, I do a lot less interacting. I do a lot more observing on the weekends, just to see what's going on. Yeah.
Right. So is there a typical day? Would you be able to describe a typical day?
Typical day, normally I would wake up probably around this time. And I'd wake up, I'd take a look, I'd get a general survey of what's going on, see if there's anything that I missed. I'd catch up on group chats with our US side as well. So we do a good job of keeping each other in the loop on what's going on.
So when you're sleeping, the US side is keeping an eye on what's happening. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So I'm usually the one I'm the only person I think with VIPKID that works with teachers and they know who I am.
Right.
But there is people in the US as well who help out, who use the VIPKID advocacy account, who do work with our community ambassadors.
Got it.
Who do communicate more. It's just, I think I'm the only one that actually has my name out there.
Right. Got it.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
All right. So typical day, wake up 8 o'clock or 7 o'clock.
Yeah. Make some coffee, see what's going on. And then a lot of it is monitoring. And then I just work on some projects like applications for the community social directory, other things, video editing. Every day is actually quite different. It's definitely not routine.
So there's no real typical day because it's changing and it just changes from day to day.
Yeah. It could be looking into a specific case with a teacher, trying to figure out what's going on, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, we appreciate that a lot. So then, now I know with COVID and whatnot, I mean,
Mhm.
well, China is kind of back to normal already, right? So do you have to go into work or do you work remotely?
I work remotely. I do go into the office for meetings.
Okay.
And if I need to be there, I'll be there. If somebody is like, hey, we need to chat about this thing, I'll definitely go in. But for the
Right.
most part, I work remotely, just because, like I said, my hours are inconsistent.
Right. Right.
So it doesn't really make sense for me to have to be at home for X hours and then go into the office. And
Got
then
it.
if I leave early, then it doesn't look good. So it's better
Right.
just not,
I mean, you're
not to
still
be there.
doing your job at home. It's just like, yeah. So what part of the job do you enjoy the most?
I definitely think I enjoy working with people, and
Okay.
I like to believe that in some ways I do have a talent for the service industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always wanted to. I've wanted to work in F&B before, in front of house and back of house. So I've enjoyed that as well. So I do like helping people and like figuring out what their problems is, because I do have to remember that a lot of things that I know is not obvious to most
Right.
people, or like
Right.
just like there's a lot of stuff going on in the back that like I can help clear up. So being able to help somebody, being able to answer their questions, and problem solving is a big
Right.
is something that I enjoy. Yeah.
Yeah. So the problem solving and the service part of the job, you do enjoy that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Awesome.
Most days.
Yes, we all have those days. Which
Yeah.
part of the job do you enjoy the least?
Um, I think it's a lot of it is just kind of social media in general, like what you have to handle. I think especially because there's a lot more people on social media now.
Yeah.
It's a bit frustrating sometimes for me, because I have to always constantly remind myself that there's always somebody who's going to be reading this for the first time, and they will have no idea what's going on.
Right.
And it's very easy to jump to conclusions. So it is a bit frustrating when things that are said by anybody are kind of like taken and spun in another way.
Right.
It's not even things that I say, but like anybody, something that anybody else says can be spun or like misinterpreted. Like, I mean, social media, when you're communicating online, it's very easy because you don't get tone, you don't get context.
Yeah.
And it's very easy to kind of run with that. So.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And you give it time and it just runs and runs, and then everything is just out of proportion from what it initially was very easily.
Yeah,
yes.
Definitely. And so I think, I'm sorry.
Go ahead. You think
I think one of the other challenges is that like this is the official Facebook group, right? So we do want to be a bit more forgiving on letting people in, which I know sounds contradictory and like letting people stay, but there is good information there. There is good conversation. And it's very easy to get focused on the negatives.
Right.
So it's like trying to promote the positivity, and what do we do with the detractors? Like, because we welcome constructive criticism. Right. And we welcome, like, if you want to be, I've always said, like, if you want to be mean to VIPKID, that's fine. If you want to be criticize VIPKID, that's fine. Just like be nice to each other. Right. And I think that's something that a lot of people forget to do.
Yes, it's very easy to forget when we're behind the screen and in front of screen on the keyboard, and our face is not really out there. We're not really talking to each other, right? So it's very easy. And I mean, the official Facebook group, in as much as it's so big and sometimes things blow out of proportion and whatnot, it has helped me out in so many ways. Especially in the very beginning when I didn't even realize that there were other groups. Yeah. So it's helped me a lot. So I'm hoping that it will continue to help others as well. And so where do you see yourself working if you aren't part of VIPKID?
I'm not a part of VIPKID. Most likely not in China anymore.
Okay.
I think that if I had to kind of restart finding a new job and getting situated, I'd rather do it in a new environment.
Got it.
Of course, with COVID and everything that's going on, who knows what'll
Oh
happen.
yeah. Yeah.
I definitely still would see myself in a online community management role.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that it allows me flexibility. I don't think I really do well in a like 9 to 5 office setting.
Yeah,
I've personally, yeah.
I get it. I get it. I don't do well in typical 9 to 5 office setting as well.
Yeah.
It's like you're probably one of those, like, you just need to move around, do stuff like, you can get comfortable at home and doing stuff remotely, and you still get the work done. It's just, yeah. I get it. I totally get it. So with closing shop on the official group on weekends, are you better able to breathe and enjoy your weekends?
I mean, to a certain degree, I still read what's going on.
Oh, you do?
See what's happening.
Okay.
Yeah. Not in our group, but like in other groups on Slack as well, because we do have a group of community ambassadors that help us with moderation.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that all helps. The weekend closure was in one part it really was to improve the mental health of everyone. Whether it's teachers, staff members, moderators, everybody. It's just like spending all this time on the weekend on social media is just not a good thing, I think. And also, how often are there, and this is going to sound bad, but how often are there really, really issues that people need immediate answers to? And
except for the IT
that
issues,
aren't good.
But yeah.
Yeah, that aren't good. But even if there are IT issues, it's not like it's going to be solved right away.
Right.
Like things will get fixed up. You're still going to have to send in a ticket.
Right.
And yeah, so I feel better about it. It's only been our second week. We're still experimenting with it.
Yes.
So we'll see. I think we definitely do see a improvement in overall sentiment on Mondays compared to previous Mondays. Because everyone's just like, all right, we're back. This is what's happening. Yeah. So it's good.
That's good. Yeah. And you were also able to see like the engagement level, right? On the group pages.
Yeah.
Right. And how, okay, awesome. So what 3 pieces of advice would you give newbie VIPKID teachers?
New teachers on the platform or new teachers to the community?
It could be new teachers on the platform as well as new teachers to the community.
New teachers on the platform, I would recommend opening a consistent schedule, trying to get as many certifications as you can, trying to take as many workshops as you can. Taking workshops alone is not enough. You actually have to apply these things.
Right.
If you're just sitting there and you're just like, all right, I took this workshop, I sat there for an hour. That's not really going to help.
You got to apply it in the classes that you're taking. Not classes that you're teaching. You need to apply the workshop, whatever that you learn from the workshop, in the classes that you were teaching.
Yeah. And, bring enthusiasm and just be yourself in the classroom. You don't have to be a super peppy or super serious teacher. You just have to be a good teacher with whatever skill set that you have. So that's what I'd say for a new teacher on the platform.
How about a new teacher to the community?
A new teacher to the community, I'd recommend trying to see if there's a regional group. Simple social media behavior makes smaller groups much more positive, much more supportive. So that'd be good. I'd recommend not talking about teacher to teacher feedback. Right. And I'd probably recommend just scrolling and reading for maybe a week or two, just to get a feel for what the vibe is, what are the common questions, and use the search bar. It's important to kind of try to find the information for yourself first. Right. And if that doesn't work, then you can look for help. But I mean, obviously it's a lot easier to just type a question in. Right. And see what the answer is. Yeah.
What are your 3 pieces of advice for veteran VIPKID teachers?
For veteran VIPKID teachers, 3 pieces of advice. I would recommend, trying to stay, refresh your classroom techniques or your background every now and then. Try to stay, try to keep an edge in the classroom. So that's the first one. The second one is I guess I don't get too comfortable with regulars, or at least like what you call regulars,
Right,
simply
right,
because,
right.
you don't know how long they're going to be there.
Exactly.
And yeah. And if you
Yeah.
start with the company, 2 years ago, you've had the solid regular base you've had for 2 years. And, it's not cool. And it's not rare that these students are typically on the same life cycle. So if you have a group of regulars who choose not to resign with VIPKID, then it's like, oh, all my regulars are gone. So,
Right.
always be on top of your game. Yeah, I would say.
Because you may have to get new students.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, good. So now let's get to know more about Erik as a person question instead of Erik as in the VIPKID role, right? So someone wants to know why you stopped doing your cooking videos. They said that it was fun watching and learning to cook some authentic Chinese food from you.
We stopped in part because the person who I worked with, Kevin Gangy, who you may recognize as Phonics Kevin, he transferred to another team, so I don't have anybody to work with camera anymore.
So that's why. Was Kevin holding up the bigger end of the cooking portion?
Well, I mean, he was definitely doing the camera work. So
he was doing the camera work.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, that you need a tripod now.
Yeah. So that was one of the reasons. And the other reason is just simply because there wasn't a lot of return on it for the time that we put in.
Oh.
It's a very common question. It's like a thing that you have to think about whenever you want to do something with your videos. Like, what are you getting out of it?
Right.
And how does that help support company structure and company methods?
Wait, where were you posting these videos at?
YouTube primarily and Facebook.
Okay. Obviously, I didn't catch any of those. I don't know when you stopped. When did you stop doing that?
That's probably been about a year since we put one out.
That's probably why I didn't even know because I wasn't even around then. I didn't even know about VIPKID until August of last year. All right. So besides your dog, I mean, you have 2 dogs, right?
Yes.
Darla and correct. Olive, right?
Yes.
So besides your doggies, are there any other roommates? I consider your doggies like your roommates or, your kids. Do you have roommates?
Well, I live with my girlfriend. Her name's Meredith. She's asleep.
Is Meredith is Meredith the Meredith that we all know?
Probably.
From what's she most famous for? Voice of.
Yeah, she's usually in some costumes.
Like the voice of VIPKID lady. Yes. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I love her dancing and singing. Hey, someone actually asked me to ask you that, but I didn't include that in the questions.
No, but
since you mentioned the name, I'm like, okay, I think it's the same person. So there, whoever it is that asked me to ask that question, there, you got it. All right. What would you say is the best thing that has happened for you since moving to China?
Best thing that's happened to me since moving to China? Probably meeting Meredith, having 2 dogs.
That's awesome!
Yeah.
Good answer, Erik. Good answer. All right. So tell me about your dogs. Like, how did you end up with Darla and Olive?
So Darla has been with Meredith for almost 4 years now.
Okay.
So before Meredith and I started dating, she already had Darla.
Got it.
And Darla's mom was actually a food truck dog.
Oh.
Which sounds like she would just live on our food truck. No, it means she was actually meant to be eaten.
That's why I went oh.
Yeah. But her mom was rescued and she was actually pregnant during that time. So she gave birth to a litter and Meredith ended up adopting one of them who turned out to be Darla.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. And then Olive is another rescue dog, almost 4 years old. And she was in and out of shelters for basically her whole life. And this organization in Beijing called Lost Puppies, they had her and they were trying to find a forever home for Olive. Yeah. And we saw her and she was super cute. She has this little tooth that sticks out.
Aww.
So she's always and we thought to ourselves,
there. Yeah. And so when did you adopt her? 4 years ago?
She's 4 years old. This was last November.
So you just adopted her. She's pretty new to the family.
Fairly new. Yeah.
Yeah. How is she getting along with Darla?
She was very timid at first. As a shelter dog, she's very protective
Yeah.
of food and her territory.
Right.
So the first 2 or 3 months, they would always get into these little arguments.
Yeah, and it's female
But
dogs, so that's why
they're both girls.
that's a thing, that they do. So
Yeah.
I'm also I'm big into dog rescue. I have, like I was telling you, I have 5 rescue dogs, right? And I'm also part of a rescue organization. I volunteer as an adoption coordinator for World Animal Guardians here in the US. And so a lot of our dogs are local, from Virginia and stuff like that, or Maryland. But we also have dogs from Kuwait and Afghanistan and all these different places that come in. And so working with rescue dogs, I mean, I love rescue dogs. They need a home, and it's so nice to work with them and the family to match them up and whatnot. So I'm so glad to hear that you and Meredith both have rescue doggies. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So apart from missing family, which I'm assuming you do miss your family, right? What do you miss about Canada? What do you miss about Canada, if any?
I miss driving. I'd say that's one of the big things. I don't drive in Beijing. Yeah. I do miss the winters. I like winter. I like the snow. I like outdoor activities. They're not as great in Beijing.
Right. It doesn't get as cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I also miss the food. Toronto is a fantastic place to eat. We're not the best at anything, but we're really good at everything. Yeah.
Toronto has got a little bit of everything. It's got a little bit of everything. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. So do you have any siblings?
I do not.
Are you the only child?
Sorry. Yeah. Just me. Yeah.
So wait, your parents must really, really miss you.
They're okay.
I'm assuming you didn't get to go back this year.
This has definitely been the longest I've gone without being home, which is probably about a year and a bit. But usually I'll meet up with my parents outside of Canada and China. So I usually see them 2 or 3 times a year, whether it's in Canada or in Malaysia or in Hong Kong. Those are the 3 places that we usually meet up at.
Got it. Why Malaysia?
My family's Malaysian.
That's interesting. So I'm Singaporean, right? So
close enough.
Yeah, kind of neighbors.
Yeah.
Well, no, I'm U.S. citizen now, but I'm from Singapore. So but I always say I'm Singaporean.
Of course.
Yeah, it's like you can't just take that away, right?
Yeah.
So, do you speak Mandarin Chinese?
I do. To a certain degree.
Did you grow up speaking it?
It was my first language. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, were you born in Canada or were you born in Malaysia?
I was born in Canada. My whole family spoke Mandarin with me until I went to school. So once I started going to school, then everybody shifted over to English.
Right.
I was lucky because both my parents had been living in Canada since like the 70s. My grandma was an English teacher as well. So very good multicultural, bilingual base.
Yeah.
But I never really learned how to read or write. So I can speak fairly well, and my literacy is lacking.
You can speak, you can answer back and everything. Like you can conduct a conversation. It's just the reading portion, right? And writing portion. Yeah. So do you use it often in Beijing? I'm assuming you do when you're out and about.
Yeah, I use it pretty much every day. Reading and writing, you can get by. There's a lot of good translation apps out there.
Right.
Restaurants, usually I'll just ask the staff like, hey, what's good? I'm not a picky eater, so it's very, very easy. Yeah.
So I'm just curious, which part of Malaysia is your family from?
My mom's family is from Penang. My dad's family is from KK.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Did you say KK?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what are your top 3 favorite Chinese cuisine? That's what someone wants to know.
You mean dishes or
like dishes,
areas?
Dishes, but Chinese ones.
The first one would probably be that's a tough question. The first one would probably be hot pot. Hot
Oh,
pots. Hot
okay.
pots, good. It's delicious.
Like
You can get a wide variety.
with spicy stuff, or
Doesn't matter what's in the soup base as long
okay.
as there's stuff to dip in it, and you get a nice like sauce station, because you can
Yeah.
assemble these sauces and you can put
Yeah.
like all these different ingredients in. So that's probably number one. Number two would probably be this province down south called Yunnan. Yunnan. They have a dish that's called 过桥米线, which is like cross the bridge noodles.
Okay.
And they're rice noodles with a very clean chicken broth, and just with a bunch of raw ingredients on top. So it's a very clean meal. Very,
very healthy.
I guess,
very healthy.
depending on how much you eat. Yeah.
Right.
Which is the opposite of hot pot.
Yeah. And what's the third one?
The third one would probably be Hainan, an island down south. They do Hainan 鸡饭, 回龙盖饭. I don't know which Hainanese chicken rice.
Yes, Hainanese chicken rice. Yes.
Probably super common in Singapore as well.
Yes. And Malaysia.
Yeah.
But
Malaysia,
is it the same though? Is it the same? Does it taste the same? Do you know?
Yeah, it tastes
it's very similar.
Like,
it's one of my favorite meals, Hainanese chicken rice. It's awesome. It's delicious. And it's also healthy.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
I think I'll have that for lunch today.
Oh, now you're making me jealous. All right. So what are your top 3 favorite food that could be from any cuisine whatsoever? What are your top 3?
My first one would probably be Malaysian food.
Yeah.
Cuisine. Like
which
nasi
one?
lemak.
Nasi lemak. Oh my God, that's my favorite. Tell me, are you one of those? Did you work on the curriculum at all, like for some of the VIP slides, VIPKID slides?
Unfortunately, I did not.
Okay, somebody in there must either know a lot of like Malaysian food or Singaporean food, because they were like some of the slides I see. Oh my God, that's like nasi lemak. Oh my gosh, that's like the Singapore MRT station. All the stations. So I'm like, somebody there must know about these food in these places.
I know exactly who you're talking about. We have a Singaporean girl who works on curriculum, and
there you go. So those are all like most of them are in the supplementary classes, and whenever I get those, I'm like, I get so excited. I'm like, oh my God, this is like awesome. So you like nasi lemak? That's also one of my favorites. Yeah. What else do you like?
Yeah, that's my first one. My second one would probably be I like Mexican food a lot. I like the variety. Yes. I like foods like nasi lemak. You can already see it's like this thing where it's like every bite that you have can be different.
Right.
You can like mix and match. So I really like food like that. So I love Mexican food for that.
Okay.
And my third one would probably be probably pizza.
Pizza.
It's simple, basic,
because it's simple.
I mean, it's simple. You can have a lot of different things on it. Always have to have a dipping sauce, and it's easy and it's good.
Okay. So what are you most passionate about in life?
Passionate about, I mean, honestly, it's probably just having a comfortable life. I wouldn't say an easy life, but comfortable, just making sure that, because I have a habit of picking stuff up and getting very interested in it for a while, and then kind of like moving on to something else.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I mean, I like basketball. I like films.
Okay.
I love
yes, you like films. Yes. I understand that you just recently watched 1917 in the theater.
I did.
How was it?
It was very good. It was nice being able to go back to the theaters.
Right.
I'm not sure if theaters are open where you are, or
not
like
in Maryland.
States.
Not in Maryland.
Not in Maryland. Okay.
Yeah, not yet.
What part of Maryland are you from?
And we live in Baltimore. I live in Baltimore.
Meredith's from Denton, which is
Denton, Maryland. Yeah. That's not that far away. I mean, Maryland is not very big, so yeah. Does she still go back home?
Well, we were supposed to have this big trip in June, where we were going to go to Denton, and then we were going to go to what's that big city? DC.
DC was that big city.
Yeah.
Weren't
DC.
you there last year? You were there last year and you wanted to go to Trader Joe's.
I did, yeah. But I was only, when I went to DC, I think I was in the air for more time than I was actually in DC. Or I was in transit for more time because it was a very, very quick turnaround.
Right.
But yeah, we were supposed to go to Denton, DC, Toronto, and then Vancouver, and then back. But
that didn't happen.
That
didn't work out. I mean, a lot of trips were canceled by a lot of people around the world.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that things will go back to normal soon. We all want that to happen, because I think all the folks that love to travel are all like, they're all getting itchy. You know, it's like, when can we travel? When can we travel and not have to quarantine, right?
Yeah.
When we get there. So just out of curiosity, what button should we not push so that we don't incur your wrath?
Honestly, there's very little you can do to upset me, especially through social media.
That's good.
You know, just yeah. There's really nothing. There's
that's
nothing.
Good. That's awesome.
Been done before that I haven't seen before that would make me upset. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Very, very positive outlook and attitude, and just let it roll off your back, and it's fine.
I do what I can.
So, what is something that you learned about yourself during this pandemic and the recent quarantine? Because you were quarantined with Meredith and the 2 dogs, right? And you couldn't have anybody else over, right?
Oh, we could always have people over.
Oh, you could? Okay.
Yeah, the quarantine that I think we had was very different from the quarantine that's going on across North America. So even from the beginning, we could always, I think restaurants were only closed for maybe 1 or 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we could always go out and meet people. There was a table limit, obviously, and sometimes you can sit close together and you couldn't have large gatherings, but it never felt like we were cut off from our friends. Which was good. So I learned, because what did I learn? I don't know. I like working from home. I like avoiding large crowds. Yeah,
that's good. So quarantine actually worked for you.
Yeah, it worked fine. It was, I mean, for the first, working from home was a little bit of a challenge in the beginning because Meredith already worked from home, and then I had to come back, so we had to kind of like carve out our own spaces. Find places to work. Yeah. Right. But other than that, it's been fine. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's positive, right? So what is something that you wish for the world in general? Because you know what the next 2 questions are.
I think I wish everyone would consider everyone else a little bit more. I think right now everybody's a little bit focused on their own self-interest, which is totally normal, right? You do want what's best for yourself, but also just to be a little bit more considerate. And it's like, you know what, you're not the center of the world. And
so basically practice the golden rule.
Yeah.
Do unto others as you would have them do unto you.
Just be a decent person.
What is something that you wish for VIPKID land?
VIPKID land. For who in VIPKID land?
You know, it could be for anybody. It could be for the teachers. It could be for the students. It could be for VIPKID as a company. It's how you want to interpret that, or maybe answer all 3.
I mean, I think my first answer still stays the same. I think it's like a lot of like us versus them mentality. So there's like teachers, there's corporate, there's the student side, and it's never really felt like unified and like combined under like the interest, or not the interest, but like the success of A influences the success of B, influences the success of C. So it's just trying to think about like, how can we make these 3 things work together and like towards a common goal of success for the company, which is success for the teachers, which is a better education for the kids.
Right. But thank you so much. And what is something that you wish for yourself, Erik?
I need to get out of Beijing.
Wait, but does Meredith think so as well? Does she want?
Yeah, we're both, I mean, like not live, but just like we're both itching to go on a holiday.
Right. To
Yeah.
just go out and just wait. Can't you just go right now? I mean, you guys are not really in quarantine anymore, right? You can travel, right? You just have, but you have
The
to
problem
travel
is that, yeah, we can travel domestically, which neither of us really want to do. We've both been here for a fair amount of time, so we've done our fair share of domestic
traveling.
travel. But yeah, once we leave China, we can't get back in.
Oh, why?
Yeah, that's just how the restrictions are right now. So
you
China
mean because of COVID-19 restrictions?
Yeah, China's not accepting foreign nationals unless they get an invitation letter from the government.
Got it. Okay. So so we all, you know, our wish for really the world is really kind of just like, we want the world to kind of get back to normal, right? So that we all can travel and kind of just like get out and do the stuff that we would have done had it not been for this. And, but I think COVID-19 has taught a lot of us a lot of things about ourselves and about the world and how fragile things are and maybe not so as well. So
definitely.
Would you, so like Meredith is from the US and you're from Canada, right? So would you rather live in Canada or the USA?
Would I rather? I think both of us, that's tough to say. I think both of us are both of us do not have North America high on our priority list for places to move to settle down. Just because we've been away for a long time. We like the convenience and lifestyle of living in Asia, not necessarily China.
Got it.
But just it's very easy to travel and get around. I think if we did have to move back, honestly, I couldn't answer that question because I'm fine with living in certain areas of the States. She's fine with living in certain areas of Canada. So we're both very flexible. It's really wherever career takes us.
Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting. So you definitely know how to speak Mandarin Chinese. Do you know how to speak Malay? I
know one word. I know penumpang, which is passengers.
Yeah. Passengers. Yeah. Now, why in the whole wide world would you know that word?
It was an interesting word that I heard when I was a kid over the airport speakers.
Oh, penumpang, yes.
This is an interesting sounding word. What does it mean? And and food. I can do like food.
You can do food.
I can't order food, but like dishes of food.
But you know, like this is nasi lemak and this is laksa and all that.
Yeah.
But I'm sure you know the word makan.
No.
You don't know the word makan?
No.
Like eat?
I'm not a good Malaysian.
That's okay. That's okay. Because you know, it's your parents that are from Malaysia. It's like, so Erik, any final words for our VIPKID teacher, as a lot of us have already kind of start our day, right? If we're teaching, our night hours, which is really morning hours there in Beijing. Any final words before we let you go? Let's see, there's no other questions from the YouTube live, but do you have any final words for us?
I would say 2020 has been a hell of a year. Not just globally, but I think like with company as well, with VIPKID, 2020 has also been a year of change, a year of growth. So, we're all looking to get through 2020 together and, hopefully we come up better on the other side.
Yeah, I'm still hoping that we'll be able to do some kind of a journey.
I think it'll be a while, but I mean, we're definitely looking at online journeys.
Because that was good too. The online journey was good. So just as a heads up, like maybe do that a little bit more often since we can't do, face-to-face journey. That was really, really good. I enjoyed the online journey as well. But the face-to-face journey was definitely like awesome. So if anyone has never been to Journey, when that comes around again, we don't know where it's going to be, right? Because it was supposed to be in Atlanta. If that comes around again, definitely snag your tickets really early. It's really, really worth the experience. So Erik, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. And I'm sorry about the first, 3-4 minutes of us chatting. And it wasn't really online. All right. Thank you so much. And tell Meredith, I really, really enjoy watching her in those videos. Is she on the new? I have not gotten any of the new Voice of VIPKID classes yet, but is she on the new ones as well?
I cannot answer that question.
Oh!
confidential and I don't know.
All right, no problem. All right, thank you so much. And I look forward to seeing you on the official Facebook page.
Yeah,
thank you,
definitely.
Eric.
I'll see you